Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Welcome, ladies and babies, to the nastiest podcast this side of the Mississippi. The dirtiest, grimiest, ickiest, slickiest, shittiest podcast to ever happen. Today we're just talking about pee-pee and poo-poo. No, we're not. We're
No,
not talking about any of that.
I will end this call.
Actually, one of the topics will include some poop.
Oh,
So, I wish it wasn't true, but there will be some poop talked about today. I am the man who is running the show, the guy who most people do not know, the down bad with the ironclad. Noontime time with Harold.
that's him.
And you are?
And I'm the Harriet who will talk about it.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't have as many titles. I'm not as fancy.
No, you're not as fancy, but you are twice as better.
I'll take that.
So the last time we talked to you, you were in a murder mystery and you were taking your Southern art classes. And I think that's it. Well, you do improv with me on Sundays. Now, what's going on? How's life?
Life is extremely busy, but with a lot of fun things. But I am also ready for it to slow down. I'm still actively rehearsing for the murder mystery. It'll be happening on October 5th. For
That'll
anyone.
be the day after this episode drops.
Yeah, so you have approximately 20 minutes when this episode drops to get your tickets. That's not an accurate timetable, but
Do you know
it
how
will,
long people have to get their tickets?
I'm actually not sure. I
Damn,
guess.
you are not paying attention.
See, I don't normally worry about the tickets. I worry about the script and performing.
That's fair. You should not worry about the tickets. I saw you posting on social media telling people to buy tickets, though, so you are a hypocrite.
Well, I'm assuming they still have time.
This is something I do. I don't ever say I saw you posting on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. I always say I saw you posting on social media. And I don't understand why I talk like that, but it's a trashy little thing about me that I find adorable. I saw you posting on social media. You were totally social mediating it. It's like I am a independent movie that is afraid of copyright laws if I say Facebook, so I say social media.
That's true. Hey, social media could be like a general term though. Like if I post it to multiple
Social
different.
media is a general term.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for social media,
Social
baby.
media, it got a
What,
promotion.
what?
It was a sergeant, now it's a general.
Oh my God, no. What a horrible start to my life that is.
Yeah, let me take that one back. Social media, a general term, and I didn't make a joke.
Good. And is the show going to be good?
Yeah, it's gonna be real good.
Excellent, excellent. I love murder mysteries. I love summer camp murder mysteries. I've written a summer camp murder mystery, and you were in it. You were lovely.
I was, and that was one of my favorite ones I have ever been a part of.
It was your first one ever, yeah?
Yeah, I played Yield Scout.
Well, just so everyone's clear, the name was not Ye Old Scout. It
No,
was
I was
not
Yield
a. It was not about dragons and dungeons. Your name was just Scout.
That's right, and I talk like this the entire show.
It was exhaustingly excellent. Exhaustingly excellent. And how's becoming a famous actor going? Have you accomplished it?
I am learning something new every single week. Tonight we're doing something called emotions training, so we're going to be getting into the grit of it all.
You
I
said
watched
emotions or motions?
emotions, like
Oh.
and feelings. We were tasked two with watching Inside Out because that's a great portrayal of just everything that's going on in the brain. Which I watched Inside Out 2 recently, and that was really good.
So you get homework?
Yeah, depends on the week. We get different kind of
And
things.
you get homework like watch a Pixar movie?
It's great.
Man, your life is cooler than mine. I won't say happier than mine because we don't know the mental health of both of us. But cooler, like if both of our lives were like written out. You know, maybe that's not true. My life's pretty cool.
So you got some cool things going on. I mean, you host bingo.
I host bingo. I host trivia. I'm an improv director. I got a girlfriend. I got a a daughter who will be 11 years old when you guys hear this episode. Her birthday is Wednesday, October 2nd. That's tomorrow, baby.
Happy birthday. I'm not gonna do
Happy
that.
birthday to Harold Jr. Happy birthday to Harold Jr. Happy birthday, dear Harold. Why aren't you singing along? Why do you hate Harold Jr.?
I am. Can you not hear me?
Uh-uh.
We gotta start again.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
Harold Jr. Happy
Happy birthday
birthday
to
to
Harold
Harold
Jr.
Jr.
That's the
Happy
way.
birthday, dear Harold
Harold
Jr.
Jr.
Happy birthday
Birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Yeah, I got cool stuff going on, and there'll be more cool stuff going on. The problem with my life is my cool stuff, I am afraid it's all going to disappear just suddenly. And that is not from any actual, there's no proof that that's what's going to happen. My brain, I tell you what, my anxiety these days, I just assume that my girlfriend's going to leave me. I'm going to get fired from improv. Trivia is going to go away because of lack of customers, which isn't even true. We have like 50 people there every night. Bingo's going to go away because of lack of customers. Harold's going to not be popular anymore. I just am in a constant state of everything's going to go away soon. And it is exhausting.
I'd say that sounds exhausting. That's a lot of fear going on.
So when I talk about you having a cooler life than me, I don't mean cooler. I mean less anxious that everything's going to go away suddenly. And you know what? Maybe you do have that anxiety. Do you have that anxiety?
I do have that anxiety a lot of time. I think mine is more the fear of like if something goes right, there has to be something that goes wrong next.
And right now you got a lot of right going.
Yeah, so I'm just preparing for the store.
I don't know what it would be. Do you mean make something bad happen?
You can, it'll just reaffirm my beliefs.
Ooh, and that's good. That's what friends are for, right?
There you go.
This is the last podcast you will ever be part of. You
Oh,
freaking dummy.
Oh man.
Watch her. We had a discussion before we started recording that Harriet was all like, "Oh, I don't want to drink water and it be during the recording. I have to drink it before." And I was like, "Nah, you just pound that H2O in the middle of the show."
You're right. I can see if I legally drink water on the air, I will just like combust. I will turn into an active explosion.
Do it. Drink water. Drink water. Drink water. Drink water to Harold Jr. Did you do it? Did you drink it?
Hi, this is Ghost Harriet.
Oh, because you died.
Because I told you I'd explode.
Wait, did you actually drink the water?
No, I opened up the bottle cap because if I do it, I'll explode. We've established that.
You're making me so mad right now that you won't
All
just
right, I will drink the water.
drink freaking water on air.
Let me get my water bottle.
Thank you. I'm trying to prove a point here that it's not a big deal, but it might be. I've never like recorded while someone drank water. Let's see. What the heck was that noise? Swear, if you pretend like you're dead, I'm gonna stop recording. Yeah. You make everything so silly.
I was pulling up an explosion sound effect. I mean, I actually exploded, but I have to add more.
So stupid. Today, our topic is Coweta County jobs, which means I'm going to continue my journey through every job I've had. Last time we did this, we talked about Target. We talked about Kroger. And we talked about TGIF, which you didn't believe was an actual thing.
No, I'm still convinced it's a figment of your imagination.
Google it right now, you freaking fool. I'll Google it for you. No, I won't. It's going to give you the Katy Perry song.
It actually pulled up TGI Fridays. Look, man, they're really like feeding into this delusion here. Man, you made a whole page for this?
That's very silly. The page already existed, you goofy goof. And today we're going to start with my number 10 favorite job. So now we have cracked the top 10. And this is a place I don't know if you've ever heard of or been to. I'm sure you've heard of because you live in not Noonan and not Coweta County. Crooks Marketplace. Have you heard of Crooks Marketplace?
I have heard of it, but I think only from the Noonan Times with Harold. So like just that platform. I think I've seen you post about it.
Yeah, I've definitely posted about it. It's a grocery store. It was just a grocery store owned by a family called Ellis. The owner's name is Ellis Crook. He was just, which is the funniest last name you could possibly have when it comes to owning a store. So anytime a customer get mad, they do all the same thing. Well, this is why they call them crooks. Am I right?
Yeah.
Pretty good joke, right?
See, I feel like if you have like a certain last name, like you're legally obligated. Like he should be a crook.
Do you ever have when you're working with shoes somebody go, "Well, this is why you're a heel," or
If my last
they go, "Those laces are loose with those prices."
if my last name was Healed, then yes, but it is not.
You can
My last
touch
name.
my tongue.
I'm glad I haven't gotten
What do you call the little holes that the laces go through?
yeah eyelets.
Eyelets. You make my eyelets open because of how pretty you are. You don't get anything like that?
I mean I've gotten usually it's like if I'm ever uh talking to somebody speaking like that, it's older ladies just being like, "Oh, honey, your hair," and I'm like, "Okay."
Why do you think older ladies can't be pervs too?
Hmm?
Older ladies. Like
Why does it
you're always like,
work?
"Oh no, it's not a big deal because it was an older lady." Old ladies can be disgusting horny perverts. I've
I'm
experienced it
not saying,
personally.
I'm just saying most of the time there's a very stark difference between usually an older gentleman being like, "Oh, honey," and an older sweet lady being like, "I love the color of your shirt. It looks so nice on you."
If it only was on the floor right now.
This
See?
is my hypothetical old lady.
I met plenty of gross old ladies, but I've also met a lot of gross men. There's a group of men that come to trivia that I think want to have sex with every female in the world, and they collectively are just one giant perv. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're super nice, though. They're very kind, and they haven't done anything outright to where I can be like, they're for sure pervs. They might just be really sweet old men.
Yeah, there's that gray area where you're just like, is this creepy or are they just really, really talkative?
Really talkative and really old. You get creepier when you're older, which is not fair. Like there's an
Yeah.
age range. Like if somebody my own age says, "Wow, you look good today." All right, cool. If a old man, a 70-year-old man says, "Wow, you look good today," it just becomes creepy because he's an old man. That's not
I,
fair for old men.
I think again, it's all in the inflection of how they say it.
Wow, how's that cock?
Have you heard that one before?
Not from an old man. And if they did, I'd say flooring it and I'd slap him in the face. That's what I would do, which is, I don't even know why I would do that. Anyways, Crooks Marketplace. I worked
There's
there.
Crooks Marketplace.
Yeah, I worked there for, geez, a year and a half ish. I worked there from 15 years old to 16-ish. And I stocked shelves. I did everything there except run the freaking registers. You had to be a certain age to do I think you had to be 18 to do registers, maybe. And or maybe they just didn't want me to do it. So I did carts, I stocked the shelves, I did produce, I did some meats, even though I don't know I wasn't supposed to do meats. And it was a job that was good for your first job, but the bosses there were just so mean. I've never been talking down to by a boss like I did at Crooks Marketplace by Ellis Crook and Greg Crook. Greg Crook was his son. He was the main businessman. Ellis Crook was I don't know, maybe more day to day. He was always in there just making sure the store was running appropriately. And they also had like a gas station and a tire place. And I think they had one more little store too. They were all like in this little strip. They're still there. If you go to Sonoy, you can see the little Crooks strip of business. So all that was theirs. And just, yeah, the bosses were just so mean. I was called stupid. I was told, why would you have been hired? I was called an idiot. They were really awful. And I feel like they deserve punishment from the great heavens for being so awful to their employees. That's what I feel.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a great work environment. Like, was it, would they just like stop and yell at you if you were just restocking some cans or like,
They'd bring you to a corner, like they'd find you and they go, "Can you come talk to me?" And then they'd take you over there and they'd be like, "This thing was idiotic. I'm not sure why you were hired if this is the kind of choices that you make. You're stupid and blah blah blah." And then they'd send you away. And Ellis, the old man, because he was a creepy old man, I think he's still alive. Might be. If he is alive, he's like the ghost of a ghost. Like he's double ghosting it if he's still alive, because he was old when I was 16. He would just yell at you at the store in front of everyone. Like one time he kept asking me for a sampler. Do you know what a sampler is?
I don't know. I feel like that has multiple definitions.
Like if you were at a grocery store and he says, "Hand me the sampler," would you immediately be like, "Oh, well, duh, let me go grab the sampler"? Or would you be like, "Hey, what? What is that?"
I'd be like, hey, could you just remind me what that is before I go grab it? I want to make sure I'm getting you the right thing.
Well, I didn't word it that way because I am not a sim, but I was just very much like, I'm not sure what that is. What's a sampler? And he just kept screaming, "The sampler! Get the sampler! Grab the sampler!" And then I just couldn't grab it. I just stood there staring, having like a panic attack because I don't know what a sampler is, because I wasn't alive in the 1910s when samplers were invented. And then he just ran over there and he grabbed himself. He said, "These people are so stupid." And he yelled it in front of all the customers. A sampler is the piece of paper that shows the deals and like coupons. That's what a sampler is.
See, I was picturing like a platter of like literal food samples or something.
Right? A sampler, like it has chips and meats and cheese and olives. That is what I was also thinking. So as he was yelling at me, I'm looking around the front of the store thinking, I don't see any of that. That is not here in the front of the store. Why am I being yelled at?
See, that's the problem I'm hearing from this is like a lot of this could have been avoided if they would take the time to, instead of yelling at you for 10 minutes, take 1 minute to be like, hey, here's something that went a little bit wrong, or hey, here's what you need to know for this part of the job. We know that you don't automatically install grocery store knowledge when you enter the building, so we need to teach you how to do the things we'd like you to do.
And then one time somebody pooped in the store, a grown up pooped on the floor. This is what I was going to talk about.
Oh
And they
no.
made me clean it up. They made me get a mop, and I don't know how to clean up grown up poop.
Yeah.
So that was a horrible memory. I feel like one of the adults should have stepped in and made sure that it was done the exact right way that follows protocols. But nope, they're like, get a mop, get some spray, go clean up the poop in the aisle that the grown up shitted all over the place. So, the worst time I got yelled at was because our freezer went out that had held the ice cream. And so I had to get all the ice cream and I had to go put it in the freezer in the back room. But the freezer was full. There was nowhere to put the ice cream. And I was under the impression that they had a tech guy there, a mechanic. I don't know what you call it, someone who fixes a freezer, a technician or a mechanic or a freezer guy. There was a freezer guy there and he was working on it. I thought we're talking like a few hours it was going to be fixed and they were going to put everything back in there. So I put it in the cooler, which if you leave something in the cooler like ice cream, it will eventually melt. But I thought we're talking a few hours. Well, it did not take a few hours. It took like 10 hours. So the next day when all of the ice cream was ruined and it was me who put it in the cooler, oh, they yelled at me so much. They made me feel so bad about myself. I quit like 2 weeks after that because I was like, nah, even as a 16-year-old learning the ways of working, I am not going to be talked to like that. But they were so mad at me. And again, I can understand them losing thousands of dollars in product can be a little frustrating, but a manager could have double checked it. Very, very easy. Or they could just deal with the fact that I didn't mean to. I thought it was going to be ready in like a little bit. So, my bad.
No, I agree with the manager checking. They also, if they told you to put it somewhere that was very clearly full, maybe check on that first. Like instead of giving somebody a slightly impossible task.
Yep, yep. So then I had to cut the barcodes off of all the ice cream so it could be, I don't know what they were going to do with it. They were going to take them and scan them to keep them to like keep track of what all was lost. And I'm not sure why they couldn't have just, I guess they could just taken the ice cream up front and scanned it. But since it was melted, they didn't want to take it through the store. So I had to get a little razor blade and cut every barcode off of every cardboard thing. And it was a terrible day. I was very unhappy.
That sounds really bad.
Now we're getting into the jobs where I really like them.
Yay!
Yay! Do you have any stories about being yelled at or having to rub ice cream things?
Um, I don't know if I've been yelled at by a boss for that kind of
I know
thing.
you have. I know the job you have now. I won't say where you work, privacy, all that. But have you had another job, or is this your first and only job?
The only job besides the one I have currently I've technically had was I spent one day as a greeter at a Christmas tree farm. I know.
That's perfect. You look like a little elf, so that's perfect.
It was so fun. I took it so seriously. He gave me like a list, and really all I had to do was stand there and be like, "Hi, welcome." But I had like a whole thing. I was like, "There's this kind of tree over here, and it's like this kind of thing, and this kind of thing, and have a good day." Like I was just so excited. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm making money."
Why only one day?
I was filling in for the guy's daughter who was out doing something, and we know the owner of this Christmas tree farm. He lives like near our neighborhood, and every Christmas we'd run over there and go on the hay rides, and I'd bring my little elf on the shelf.
That's adorable.
Yeah, he's a very fun guy.
Is he an old man?
Yes.
See?
Oh,
It all comes back to old men.
everything's eventually an old man.
Everything's an old man. Coming up at number 9 on my list of my favorite jobs in Coweta County, I worked for Little Debbie. Little Debbie. You know what Little Debbie is, don't you?
Oh, I know what Little Debbie is.
And my job would be once a week, Saturday nights, I would go and I would take Little Debbie treat boxes and I would restock the shelves because Saturday was their busiest day. So they would sell out pretty bad on Saturdays. And instead of letting a Walmart employee do it, it would be me. And I would come in like a little elf on the shelf boy. And I would take Little Debbie boxes and I would put them on the shelf.
Was it like just at one location, or did you go to multiple places?
Nope, it was just at one location. It was just one day a week. And then there'd be like $60 cash stuffed in one of the boxes that he would just take in there and be like, oh, this is the zebra cake box. That's where I'm going to stuff $60. And it was just such easy money and it was fun. My friends would come with me and they would hang out at the aisle with me while I would stock it. And then that'd be it. And then I'd be done. Super easy.
That's awesome.
Don't have any fun stories. Didn't get yelled at. Didn't have regular customers. Didn't talk to customers. Didn't talk to a boss because no boss was on site. It was just me going to into the back room at the Walmart. I think I was supposed to get like a Walmart manager to sign my sheet to say that I was working with Little Debbie, but I never did that.
They just saw this guy walking in with like a whole cart of Little Debbie cakes, putting them on the shelves, and they're like, "Oh no, that's just Harold."
I've worked
We
I've worked multiple jobs at Walmart, not for Walmart, and every single time they don't care that you exist. They don't care that you're walking around the back room. You could just walk into the back room to go do something and no one says anything to you. They're just like, "Whatever. We don't want to be here. We don't want to talk to anyone." It is a desolate place of sadness.
I feel like if you walk into almost any place with like the right outfit and the confidence, like they will just assume you're supposed to be there. I don't know what it was I saw recently. It was like some video of some guy and he put on like a vest and like it might have been a twill belt and put on gloves. And he like walked into the back of a McDonald's or something and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then he just walked in and he was videoing the whole time, like, "Guys, this is how you do this." He just walked past everyone and was like, "Yep, that's a table."
That's a table.
That's a table, and then he just walked out the back door and left.
If you could do that anywhere and work for a day at somewhere else, where would you want to work?
Mm. I would walk into like an amusement park and pretend I'm supposed to be there, or like, ooh, no, I go to the zoo. Like I'd go in there with like a technician type thing, like, oh, I'm just gonna go fix the animal pens, or just like safety inspection, make sure everything's good, and then I just go look at all the animals.
Just go look at all the animals.
Just walk being like, yep, that's an elephant.
That is an elephant. What job would I mean, easy answer would be professional wrestler, but then I would actually have to get in the ring and I would get the crap beat out of me.
Is there like a person that stands on the side more?
I'd
You
probably
got,
want to be like a stage manager for a Broadway musical.
I feel like I'd be so stressed about that because unless I knew exactly what I was doing, if you just walked into a Broadway musical venue or stage behind the scenes and
Yeah, that's fair.
had to
Okay, I'd rather be a critic for Broadway. Like my job is to go sit and then write reviews, and I just wouldn't write the review. I would just be like, "Hey, you want to see a Broadway show on I don't know, I'm assuming they have critics night or they let critics in to see it for free. They're like, "Come see it," and everybody wants to impress me and everything. That would be cool.
you just walk in with like a little Hello Kitty notebook and you're like, guys, I'm a professional.
Hello
Sit in the
Kitty. Why am I using a Hello Kitty notebook? I'm a grown ass man.
Because you're a professional. That's what professional.
Oh. I want to use my My Hero Academia notebook. Oh my gosh.
Do you actually have one of those?
No, I wish. So you've never worked in Noonan. Okay, so better question. If you had to work any job in Noonan, where would you want to work?
Any job in Newnan. I trying to think of places I actually go to that
Just
I
for
would enjoy.
one day, you're just doing it one day, any position.
Hmm. I would work at Junction Lanes at the arcade.
There you go. That's perfect for you. Just doing like taking the tickets and stuff.
Or I'd be like the if I could put up my own fake thing, I'd be the game tester.
That is not. No, no, no.
No, I'd be the one behind the tickets, being like, "Oh, did you win? Here's how you get that jackpot."
Is that what they do? Do they help people?
No, but I would.
Oh, okay. So you would ruin the
One day I'll
system.
get tired anyway. Oh, trust me, it's rigged enough over there.
Was it bad at Junction Lanes?
It's it's not like terrible, but it's all the games are very overpriced compared to a lot of arcades. But for the type of place it is, it does make sense. They need to make money somehow.
See, I don't do arcade really, but I feel like if I went with you, you could teach me how to be good at it.
Hey, join me at Dave and Buster's. That's my home turf there. Every time I go there, I get at least one Flappy Bird jackpot.
I don't know what that means.
If- Do you not know what Flappy
I
Bird is?
do, but what does it mean to get a Flappy Bird jackpot? Is that
So
when
there's a
you
game.
run over a bird and instead of guts flying out, it turned out, oh, that bird had eaten a bunch of quarters? It-
It's like it's just the Flappy Bird game, but I forget what the actual thing is called because obviously they can't use like the Flappy Bird thing.
Jumpy, jumpy Blue Jays.
Probably something like that, honestly. And they you just have to beat a certain score, which if you know how to this is gonna sound so nerdy. There's a certain way that you can press the button that makes it easier with the response time because the game will lag when you get to a certain point, and as long as you're having a good reflexes and stuff, you can get the jackpot most times.
Gotcha. And it's just one big button you press, right? In Flappy Bird?
Yeah, there are two, so you can play with a friend. The only thing about that is it does get even more laggy just because of the game's software. So usually you have to outlive one of the people to get to your jackpot.
You are such a nerd. Listen, my number 8 favorite job was Wings and Things at Summer Grove. Wings and Things Summer Grove, which we already know my favorite restaurant of all time is Wings and Things. And my favorite Wings and Things I worked in would be the only one I've worked in, and that would be Wings and Things in Summer Grove. It was owned by my best friend's parents. So the dynamic that I had there was a little bit weird because they've known me since I was 2 years old. They've babysat me. They take on some responsibility of protecting me. So it wasn't like, I don't want to say it was a good dynamic because they also try to be my boss. So there were times where one of them would be like the kindest, nicest one ever, and the other one would try to do tough love and be like, yeah, I'm talking to you like this because I'm trying to help you. You got to let me try to help you. Stuff like that. But the actual job was easy. I would clean tables and I delivered wings and things. One time I stuck my hand in the greaser and burnt it like an idiot. But besides that, very easy job. It was just my best friend's mother was wonderful, and my best friend's father was kind of a dick, which is usually how it is. The men are kind of a dick. The
Yeah.
McKnights. Those were the McKnights. Since I put the Crooks on blast, I'll say the McKnights when they owned the Wings and Things in Summer Grove. One of them, they were both good managers, but one of them did not talk to me in very kind ways, and one of them talked to me in very kind ways. And again, the dynamic was weird. I don't know if you've ever worked under or for a family member in any capacity, but it's a little weird.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be when it comes to like boss employee, there has to be that healthy kind of like not I guess not power dynamics not the word I'm looking for, but you have to have that
Power
sort
dynamic is the right word.
yeah, you have to have that sort of kind of distance that you're able to be like, hey employee, you did something wrong and I can't be your best friend about this when we need to fix something. Like you should always be kind to your employees. You should treat them with respect because that is the bare necessity.
The bare necessities of life is treat with respect.
Yeah, and that, I mean that goes for just people in general. But yeah, being somebody's best friend, like being the good cop, bad cop, that's really difficult at work because you're like, how much do I do, um, as a friend? How much am I doing as an employee here? I feel like that puts a kind of pressure on them, and that puts a kind of pressure on you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about what is my dynamic with you when I am in charge of you? Is it terrible?
I don't know. I mean, improv is more fun.
Yeah, improv is more fun. We've done improv and we've done scripted shows. I've been in charge of you in a few different ways. But you're also one of my favorites, so there are probably other people like, oh yeah, Linton always gives Abriel special treatment.
Maybe I'm just that cool.
Um,
No.
cool is not the word I use for you. You're a lot of great things, but like cool's for like people who like snowboard and can twist cherry stems and make knots with their tongues.
That's true. To be fair, I just did a whole like 2 minute talk about the Flappy Bird arcade game, so I don't
Right?
think I earned
Not
the
even
clip.
Flappy Bird, but the Flappy Bird ripoff arcade game.
You know what? I'm looking it up while you keep talking. Flappy Bird arcade game.
It's gonna be like Jumpy Dove.
I hope that's what it's called.
Ooh, Jumpy Dove.
So I think part of my love for arcade games is when I was younger, used to play a lot of like those Webkins type games where they'd always have like a little arcade area and a lot of those where you go and you'd earn your little tokens to decorate your house and all that stuff.
Never played it. Don't even know what you're talking about.
How dare you? For those who
Because I'm a grown ass man.
oh, it's called floppy tickets.
Floppy tickets.
Floppy tickets.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
oh, that's a great name.
We need to do a podcast episode designing a Noonan themed arcade.
I would love
Yeah,
that.
we'll put that on the docket. We got to get through these. We'll do one more. My favorite jobs, number 7, and this is one I could talk about for a long time because I worked there off and on for 3 years due to COVID, and that is Pizza Hut at Thomas Crossroads. This was a great job. I was a delivery driver. I was a shift manager. I was a cook. I ran the register. I did every position available at Pizza Hut at Thomas Crossroads. My manager was one of my best friends. So again, we're talking about the dynamics. I got to work with both of my brothers at different points. I made a lot of friends. I listened to so many books while I was driving around that were just awesome. I love listening to books. The routes for the deliveries were really good, so it was really easy to make money, and I met customers that became regulars. I dealt with angry customers and angry regional managers, and I learned how to get through that in a healthy way. The problem was being on my feet for 5-ish hours at somewhere with bad shoes because I couldn't wear like my nice diabetic shoes. I had to wear freaking non-slip work shoes. So that was always really painful. And my leg pain started getting really bad because of my diabetic neuropathy during that time. So a lot of pain, a lot of horrible physical pain took place at Pizza at Thomas Crossroads. But it was also my favorite coworkers and favorite, like, just, there's so many fun things about it. It was like the movies. Loved it. And the food was yummy. I ate way too much pizza while I worked there, which is also bad for my diabetes. But boy, oh boy, I don't know if you've ever had pizza before. It's pretty good.
I've heard of it, and I've heard it's really good.
Well, you probably don't eat like regular pizza. You eat the off-brand flappy dough with cheese or something like that.
Flappy cheese.
That's what
It's
you
not
eat.
cheese. It's just a cow, but it hasn't turned into cheese yet.
Well, those are my 7, 8, 9, and 10 jobs. We're about to lose our connection on this call in around 2 minutes. And I know, what, you got somebody coming to tune a piano in a little bit, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Which means
Sadly.
we can't just keep recording and we can't just keep talking because you have a life today.
Dang, I hate having one of those sometimes.
Well, I guess this has nothing to do with you. There's just going to be the sound of a piano in the background.
Instead of my tranquility for the morning, I'm just gonna hear somebody going doot
Doop,
doot.
doop,
Doop.
which is the background music to Flappy Bird, isn't it?
That's true. Every time you pass one of the little pipes, it just goes doot.
Does it really?
It actually makes a sound really close
Oh,
to
look
that.
at that. No, I'm beeping. I don't know if you just heard that. My Dexcom is or my blood sugar reader, not my Omnipod is beeping because I'm running out of insulin. So it's almost like it's perfect timing for us to get out of here. Any last words, my dear friend?
If anyone needs arcade tips, come to me.
You know, we should do a whole series on arcades. We'll talk about a Noonan arcade. We'll talk about how to beat all the arcade games. But you'll need to know the names of the arcade games. We can't be saying rolly ball, a hole, drop.
Okay, I know most of them. When I get the floppy tickets, I just hone in. I'm ready to win.